Oh damn, come on. This is how you make warfare look gorgeous. You're never gonna, he's not gonna leave, you know that.
I want to take it home.
Since the dawn of time, it has always been important to protect and defend your villagers, the people in your towns. So of course, from day one of the Vikings arriving in England and started raiding the villages and monasteries, it soon became evident that villages had to be protected, enclosed by walls, defensive positions. And throughout the evolution of this history, villages became more and more ensconced in heavy walls within the castle walls, or entire villages were constructed as a fortification. Always with a church in the center, of course. We're going to visit one of the last fortified villages ever constructed. It started with a village and the fact that it was placed in a place of strategic importance, and after the Franco Prussian War, the French decided that they had to begin to protect strategic crossings, waterways, and there was a village in one of these. Sometimes the interests intersect, and today we're going to see one of the most amazing places where everything works. And over the next 2 episodes, there's more hardware in here you'll never see anywhere else. And they restored all of it in the last fortified village in the world ever built.
Or sometimes you come across a picture of something you just have to see. And in another fort over here, I saw a photo of a couple of German soldiers in front of this gigantic, I'm going to call it a turret, but it's a cupola. And here it is. I had to see it. I had to show you this enormous thing in this fantastic fort in what is actually the last fortified village possibly built anywhere. Certainly the last one in France. And that makes it so much more amazing. What is even more amazing is that we could just wrangle the cashier for the fortification here and have him show us through. So you got to see this.
Here we are in front of the central redoubt of the fortified village of Villy-le-Sec. When the French army wanted to defend the new frontier, which was now quite close after Alsace and the Moselle had been seized by Bismarck and made part of Germany, they were looking for a place to defend the east of Toul. And the village was in exactly the right spot. So they thought, do we demolish the village, annoy everyone, move the village? And they thought, no, we will surround the village, well, on the German side at least, with fortifications. So what we have here is the last fortified village ever constructed in France. There were fortified villages which were constructed in the Middle Ages, but this one is very, very modern, relatively modern, okay? Now the redoubt here is at the back of the gun batteries. Behind us will be Toul. Toul is behind the redoubt, okay? And it was built in masonry. And then the original entrance in masonry was changed when, with the crisis of the torpedo shell, when the French realized they had to upgrade the protection of the forts. They covered them with the carapace, the shell of special concrete, le béton spécial, using Roman technology, okay, with volcanic ash. And they took away the original, it would be an arc de triomphe, a kind of a triumphal arch with a drawbridge and a ditch. And inside would have been a section, a bridge which would move sideways. So inside, if you smash the drawbridge, you would fall in the pit. Okay? But now, when it was modernized, well, here we have the reinforced concrete. It wasn't the original idea to build a fortified village. It happened by accident. They didn't want to move the beautiful village, so they fortified it, which is okay. And you have the best of both worlds. 1875, they started building it, and it was modernized in 1880. It was occupied during World War I, but there was no fighting here. There were 3 regiments, infantry, artillery, and engineers, 800 to 900 men each. So it would be able to house 1,300 men, but it was never filled up with that many.
When World War I broke out, did they evacuate the villagers?
Oui.
Okay.
Yeah, they were taken away, yes.
Oui.
My French is good enough for that one.
So it started in the 1960s, and they just celebrated their 50th anniversary, the association that runs the Fortified Village.
So we have last off, we have a 50 years anniversary, and we have something in here that you will not see anywhere else. I'm dying to see this place. Show me your fort. Oh, this is awesome. And there's a train in here.
Yeah, this is very similar to with talking Maginot, aren't we? Fantastic. So that's the water tank that would supply the forts, you know. They would not carry men. Even in the Maginot forts, they didn't carry the men. The soldiers marched down the underground corridors. They were used for munitions, for food, for transporting supplies, water, etc. And the train wouldn't normally come and hide in a kind of a hangar here. It would circle around all the parts of the fortified system, okay? But it's put here for safety. Double engines. The original locomotive would be a double-ended steam locomotive.
Really?
Yeah, with 2 boilers, 2 chimneys, and a man in the center who would stoke the 2 fireboxes. There are only 2 left in the world. I think one is in the Czech Republic and the other maybe in Hungary, because the German army took them all away in 1940. They were very useful because they have 2 bogies and they can turn very tightly on steep railway tracks.
Damn Hungarians.
Well, they won't give them back. This is fantastic.
I know.
Complete.
Vous avez eu de la chance.
Oh, yes. Ah, cannons in there. The bread oven. Normally they're in ruins.
Oui, et ben non, pas sûr.
Normally you see just a pile of bricks. And that is the bread oven.
So that is 1880?
1870s, if I was good, I suppose. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Alors, il est fonctionnel.
And it works.
Yes. Yes.
A wood-burning bread oven. That is incredible.
So it would work on wood, it wouldn't be coal?
Well, then there's pas de charbon,
Non, que du bois.
The bois, yeah. Right, they cut the trees that go around the fort and they use it in the oven. That is amazing. I've never seen a complete oven. That is unique.
Yes.
Oh boy. It's an oven, okay, but I think it's beautiful.
I mean, I've seen the German ones, I never seen the French one, and that's amazing. I love that.
There's the smoke exit, the chimney, okay, which used to join up to the oven, but now when they light it, everybody leaves. Or you have gas masks.
Oh, come on, don't be so sensitive. It's just a little smoke.
A little smoke. J'ai un détecteur de canon.
Canon de 75, 15 mètres de bourge, bon, vous en avez à Berlin.
Et sans le système de recul, hein?
Oui.
Toujours usé.
Oui, il y avait toujours.
And when we were in the battery de l'Éperon, do you remember? They have a working one. It came from Draguignan.
Oui,
They brought it from Draguignan because they always take away the recon mechanism, the secret part of it, which is such a shame. And what is that, baby? There is the barrel of a Krupp howitzer.
Yes, this is a little 150.
Yeah.
A little fat 150. Where did this come from?
Well, it would come from
Well,
Thionville.
that one, we don't know when that.
Well, the nearest is Guentrange in Thionville. Okay.
I know where there's a pair sitting in a forest.
I would think that's a spare howitzer for a turret. Tino.
Coming.
Oh, what is that?
That's a box of breech blocks.
Culasse de Tourelle 75.
Oh, it's a 75 turret. Breech
Alors
block.
elles sont plus fonctionnelles, mais par contre elles ont été restaurées.
Oh, fantastic.
Love it when things work.
Yes, and they're not cut up as well.
Yes.
And then the trigger is there.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, you can.
To one side, not back. And then she ejects. She goes down, and the ejector throws it out.
Do you feel better now, Roger?
Yes. Now, the Gruson factory, they set up a model of a torpedo boat, and every visitor from Japan or France or America gets to fire the Gruson armor-piercing perforal, and then they examine the torpedo boat target to see what damage they've done. And that is, and I've got the book, yes, what a beauty.
This armor is interesting. You gotta love the WW1 armor
They're
suit.
two commission ones. The Germans took away, so they would take away rails, the handrails and things. Okay, but they when they wanted to use these foots for storage, they would leave the turret, the coupole, because they didn't want the rain to get in. So that was always a good feature. If they used for storage, you're okay. Okay. There is the first assault rifle, the Shushan.
Oh yes.
Now people say it was made in a bicycle factory, so it is very light, made of bicycle tubes. If you carry one, it's
not light.
made of bicycle tubes. It's very heavy.
It's not light at all.
No. If you tighten all the screws, it ceases to work. Right, here we have the Shoshat, the CSLG, the initials. Shoshat was the colonel who designed it. Now the major problem with it was that the magazine originally started on the top. It's a light machine gun for aircraft. So the gravity would send the last cartridges into the gun. Now when they converted it for ground use, they put the magazine underneath for some strange reason. And if you loaded the magazine the night before you attacked, the spring was so weak, it would lose its strength. And it wouldn't push the last rounds uphill into the chamber. So that was a big problem. You loaded your magazines at the last minute. They walked towards the German machine gun nest, firing from the hip. And they had a pourvoyeur alongside, whose job was to see when the magazine, the 30 rounds, were just about to vanish. He would whip that off, and he had pouches, magazine-shaped pouches. He would clip a new magazine in, and you keep on firing. Okay? There are stories of Shoshat gunners walking towards German MG08 machine gun nests and taking them out one after another. And people who say that does not work, they would never have survived. But they did it. If you looked after your Shoshat carefully and oiled it and didn't tighten all the screws too tight, it would work perfectly. Now, the drama about the Shoshat is that they made a version for the American Army. And this is very strange, extremely strange, because they put a straight, a curved magazine under it instead of the semicircular one with 3006. Now people said that is too strong a cartridge for the Shoshat. That's rubbish. It could handle a 3006 round. It handled Mauser rounds in the Polish army with no problem at all. Now, it's a mystery. I think I've got to the bottom of it. Every single American Shoshat failed on the very first round. You loaded it, you charged it, you fired a round, it did not eject. It jammed on the first round. which is very strange because there was an American examiner in the factory who was supposed to check each show shot, American show shot, and stamp it as approved. So they never did it. So why did they build the show shots? Why did they give them to the American soldiers? I don't think they ever gave the American version. I think it was a financial transaction. Instead of what shall we say, Congress giving $1 million to France, they bought show shots without the intention of ever using them in combat. They cannot be used. They are non-functional. So there is the mystery. It's a financial deal to give millions of dollars to France and receive show shots, which don't work. And after 1919, they were virtually all destroyed to hide the evidence. They were all burnt. There are 1 or 2 still in existence, and the chambers on them are undersized. If you bore out the chamber to the correct size, it fires 200 rounds straight off. They never check them at the factory. They jam on the first round.
And why would the Americans buy anything when they had the BAR?
Because they wanted to make the Germans think that they were attacking with show shots. They didn't want the Germans to know that they were using the BAR, for fear that if the Germans got hold of a BAR, they would copy it.
But they weren't, because they never brought the BAR to France. Because
they did get the BAR to France, because if you go to Jean-Paul's museum in Romagna, he has got 1918 dated clips and 1918 dated ammunition that came out of them fired by a BAR in the Meuse-Argonne offensive. So they did get the BAR.
So they did get them for World War I.
They did get the BAR in World War I. But they kept them back until the last minute, and they pretended that they were going to have American show shots, which they never used. So there's all this mystery tied up. And in the end, they did use the BAR. Incredible.
So that was a long story that always about the BAR. Did it come? Did it not show up? Did they get it? Did they not get it?
Well, when you've got 5 cartridges dated 1918, of course they used it.
They could have used it in World War II.
Oh yeah.
It could have been leftover.
And it's a beast to fire.
I know.
Wait a minute. This is. Est-ce que c'est un GPF?
À gauche là.
Oh. Yeah, it's on the M12. It's a GPF. And this one is the American-made version on an M12 gun howitzer. Oh my God!
So what's it doing here? What's it doing here?
Comment là?
How did it get you?
Bonne question. I don't know.
Someone fell in love with it and said, we must save this.
Like some farmer brought it in one day. Like,
il est tombé du ciel.
Fell from the sky.
You fell.
What we normally say though, it fell off the back of a truck.
Oh, yes.
It's jammed.
It fell very hard. You know he's going to try to drag it to the car, right? Roger, we can't stick it on the roof of the car. Maybe. Well, maybe we can, I don't know.
That is amazing. It's much longer than any bomb, just twice as long. Mais c'est fabuleux.
Mais oui, il y a plein de
C'est le canon préféré des Français pendant la Grande Guerre.
And having resolved myself to the fact that I'm going to have to pry Roger off this barrel at some point, I wanted to go in under the big dome.
Et le canon favori de Rommel.
Ah ouais?
Quand il a capturé les versions françaises, when Rommel captured French cannons in... This is amazing.
This is what I think it is, isn't it?
This is... Yeah, we're going up to the cupola.
I know. This is actually what I think it is.
This is Christmas.
It is. It's actually in place.
Yeah, the cupola is in there.
I can't wait.
Cannons are inside it, and they've got the breech blocks to put in them.
Is there anybody of your neighbors around seven clicks around here you don't like?
Oh, the circular gallery, which is the heart of the fort, basically here. There she is with the arches with the... You see the masonry, and there's the concrete, the special concrete poured over the gallery, the entrance gallery. That would be a much higher. Okay, go leading down to the drawbridge and the big monumental gate above this arch now. All around the cupola. In the Fortified, this cupola has been lowered by one whole level to put it in a dish to be less visible from a distance. They were planning to do the same thing with this one, to lower the cupola by a whole level, but World War I intervened and they never had the time to do it. And that would have meant that they would have molded concrete, special concrete all around at the top of these arches. Okay?
So this is the original gun in the original position?
The original cupola with the original guns as built.
Yes. Oui, c'est l'original, ça n'a pas été modernisé.
A Barbonnet has the same thing, doesn't it? There are two at Barbonnet.
Ils en ont deux à Barbonnet, oui. Une complète et une qui n'est pas.
The cannons here were taken away to rearm the fort at Barbonnet in the Alps. There are two cupolas like this at the top of the Alps. And they took the two cannons from here to Barbonnet, but then the association wanted them back, so they went and recovered them, and they put them back in their cupola here. There's a lot of effort doing that. A lot of effort. And then at Barbonnet, they've got the two from the Fortified instead. And so the people who run the Fortified are angry now that their cannons are in the Alps. It's like musical chairs, but it's musical cannons.
So when is Fruard going to get some cannons back?
Oh, when they sneak down to Barbonnet in the dead of night. That is fantastic, the staircase. That is brilliant. This is the hydraulic pump that will lift the turret on its central spine, if you like, to be able to turn it. So it reduces the weight of the turret down to 9/12. That'll be 3/4 of its original weight to be able to revolve it more easily. It doesn't go up and down.
Oh, it's just rotating?
Yes, rotating. All this does is relieves the pressure on the turning wheels.
Okay, yeah, I got
Just
it.
slightly.
Where was the steam engine, downstairs or up here?
No, it's here. There's a steam engine here.
That's right here.
Yeah. And now you have an electric motor.
And a hand crank.
Turret turned 30 years ago. Now it no longer turns.
Don't we just have to get more people on here then?
And it turns, there's the chain that goes around the wheels in the cupola. Look, can you see there's the chain? The chain we will see goes around the wheels of the cupola up above. Okay? There are cogs on the wheels that get turned by the chain. The fort was fitted with electricity in 1913. That is quite rare because Duomo had candles and gas lamps. 1913 they had power here, electrical power at a power station.
That is not what I expected to see.
Do you know this opening was made to let tourists in?
Okay, that's what I expected to see.
Yeah, the staircase was too steep for them. And there's the chain that turns the turret. Look, the guns. Turns the cupola. What a beauty. And half the electricity doesn't work. The electrician is arriving.
Any day now.
Cannons. Oh, they are so beautiful. And they're long. Right, the guns recoiled by 1 meter, and so they set the remote control firing mechanism around the base of the turret, not to be up there when the beasts recoil, because they recoil on their wheels.
Donc du coup la tourelle va tourner.
Yes.
Va tourner.
That
Et
sets
ça,
it off. The electric contact. There.
Oh, so when it was rotate to the place of firing, then...
Yes. Then it would just go off. And look at the voussoir, the armor plate around. Oh my God. This is beautiful.
Seriously. So what year was this turret actually built? This was...
By 1880s. Because in 1905 they came up with the retracting turret, with the, like in Duomo, and in Battery de l'Éperon. Isn't that gorgeous? They're huge.
They really are.
You don't mess about when they're firing. You remove yourself from the area. And there is the ammunition that...
Not so much the mounting on the floor and the wheels. I mean, everything is just so...
massive.
Yes.
It's meant to last, isn't it?
Well, it's been here for... Now we have to do math, but... 100 and a lot of years.
140 years. Oh, and here are the wheels are activated. The chain comes up from below.
Man, that's what
And this goes round, and the chain pulls the cupola around.
There'll be no...
Oh, and that is the drainage system for rainwater.
Yes. Il faut qu'on la refasse parce qu'en fait on a des infiltrations.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
Yeah, look, the two behind you feeds the rainwater into another gully so that it doesn't pour down into here because it's all dry. It's in very good condition. Can you imagine when this thing is turning and firing?
No, let's try.
Faut essayer.
Me too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, watch out for the floorboards.
I know. Oh, this is much better shape than anything else I've been in. Oh, perfect. Oh.
I'm having a little bit of a flashback to the Danish fort that we visited out by Copenhagen with the two enormous cannons. This is slightly smaller, and yet the guns are bigger. Probably a little more modern, but it is impressive. It looks like it should be sitting in a battleship. It probably was at some point. This type, at least.
Did they give the bat a name? There's a bat living in here. Does it have a name?
Oui, c'est vrai.
Il faut me dire aux autorités parce que
Non,
tout sera fermé.
en fait, on a de la chance.
This is where I remember the reference that these are land battleships. They really do have a throwback to the era of the dreadnought, even in their construction and the rivets, the huge cannons, and the turret collected by pieces welded together. Just an amazing place.
Yes, the association is planning to repaint the Mougin and then make a turn.
Yes.
These arbres là-dedans.
Oui, normalement.
On peut tirer à blanc.
Elle tirait à blanc. On a, oui, elle fonctionnait. Hein. Elle tirait à blanc. Patrice, un autre bénévole qui va venir d'ici une vingtaine de minutes, l'a connu.
Look at the broken floor that I'm standing on. Yay.
24, le grand galopin.
Ouais, il tire.
Ah, mais ils utilisent un petit tube.
Oui, oui.
Mais j'espère qu'ils vont faire tourner, monter.
You know, this is a dome I saw on a photograph off that I had a couple of German soldiers outside that I always wanted to see for real.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
The cupolas like this at Maubeuge to the north of France, they were bombarded and the armor plate around was cracked and the turrets, the cupolas were put out of action. Because what you really needed to do with everyone was to lower them by one level, and then you have them in a kind of a saucer. And if you know Maginot forts, they're around 135 mortars, lost bomb, are in a saucer, so you can't see them unless you're above them.
Yes.
Basically, that was the plan. The plates would protect the gunners. Instead of climbing all the way down, they would hide behind the plates while the gun fired to save having to climb down and jump back up again. And they protected the gunners.
I love it when you have when you need to protect the gunners from the gun. Not to mention that thing. What is that thing?
That thing there. Right.
What is this thing?
That is a mystery.
What is this?
C'est quoi cet objet ici? It's a recoil brake for the cannons.
Il me semble. Ça faut que je redemande ça.
Avec un ressort à l'intérieur.
Ouais.
With the spring inside.
Holy shit.
Those are very big, very long. Fantastic.
So I'm not allowed to call it a turret? No. It turns!
I think the French kept the word turret for something that went up and down.
Alors ça c'est les Allemands pendant la Seconde Guerre mondiale.
Ah, they tried their hollow charge, or their, like they used at Villy-la-Ferté.
It's American.
That's American.
Yes.
Could I just once in my life visit an Allied fortification that was not shelled by my own Air Force or Army?
Right, these are American artillery shell impacts.
It
when
usually
in 1944, the Americans, after liberating Toul, obviously they saw the fortifications and they suspected the Germans were still inside, so they bombarded the village.
Just because we're Americans and that's what we do.
Yes, blow everything up.
Well, there's something. Let's blow it up, yes.
Yeah, but that's not done very much damage. What would that be? That'd be a 105.
I mean, that's hard to tell. This is a
105 millimeter howitzer.
but at least there was two hits at least, maybe three, maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But they're very close together, so it's fairly good.
There's 75 or 76 fired out of an M10 Wolverine. You couldn't fire a Sherman shell at this and expect to do anything.
No,
it would
no,
bounce
no,
off.
no, no, no.
So that's a 76 out of Wolverines. That's why it's so close together.
76, you think?
Yeah, the 76 millimeter. Those are. In World War I, they tested the resistance of the Mougins armor, and they found out that they could withstand 1,000 artillery hits. Not the big Krupp 42 centimeter, obviously, but they'd take 1,000 medium to large size shells. And so the plan was to lower them one level, so that only the very tiny part of the top would be visible.
So what did this thing weigh?
Quel est le poids de ce coupole?
Alors l'ensemble fait 150 tonnes.
150 tons complete. So the 155s in the countryside would fire up to 10 kilometers, but they don't have the elevation here because of the small gun ports.
And
So
because
they
they're
will
long
live-
guns.
Sorry?
They're long guns, so they can't elevate that much.
Yeah, exactly. But they're the same cannons as out in the field artillery, but they can't elevate. So they've got a range of about 8 kilometers.
So they brought it up in sections?
They brought it, c'est construit en section.
Oui.
They welded it together.
And there's the
That's the
lightning rod.
Lightning.
Quand on suit la tranchée, le paratonnerre était ici.
Oh, really?
Voilà. Et donc
Oh, wow.
du coup c'était relié à la terre tout en bas.
So you have what, 4 casernes,
Yes. 1, 2, 3 and 4.
and this observation posts,
Yeah.
artillery emplacement, observation post over there, behind the weird little sheep looking at. Did they just get shaved? Someone cut the sheep, didn't they? The sheep are all naked.
So here, if you're a bad boy, you have to stay all night in the winter in the lookouts.
La même génération c'est pareil. On a les murs qui... Vous allez à la grande haie, sur la place d'Épinal, c'est pareil.
These are the barrack blocks in time of peace. They're built of very nicely sculpted stone, but of course they don't resist shell fire. So when the fort is under bombardment, they go and shelter in the concreted part.
I was hoping you were going to find this place.
I've seen all the others.
We have all the sheepishes up here.
The sheepsesses, they sound friendly.
It's a feature of the Serre de Rivière fort of this generation that the pressure of the earth keeps pushing the stone walls outwards. I suppose if it was reinforced concrete, it wouldn't have done that.
True. So is this the bastions? Was it gun position?
Yeah, that.
So 75 or?
Yes.
Yeah.
The concrete.
It looks very Germanic 1940.
They copied it from the French. They copied it. But you know, the soldiers would wait here for the order to go out onto the ramparts. Okay, and those. That's very smart.
So this is the gun crews, and the guns will be
infantry.
the infantry.
To man the ramparts.
The ramparts, of course. Would the guns be in place, or was the guns pulled out of a shelter? The small one, the ones on the ramparts.
120s. 120s would be in place. All the way around the outside. Yeah, the Struckmann.
De canon de 120
So what was this? So it's ammunition lift that is currently not lifting. So this.
Done battery later on, he's on a cache. The other cache is seen.
que nous on a.
There was a cage here, like we saw on. This is in excellent condition.
It really is. This is. Holy shit.
Somewhere in between the Echo and the French, I'm sure you may not pick up on what they're talking about, but a feature film was shot in here recently, a World War I film in French, so I wonder if we'll see it in the American market. But that's the conversation, and we all applaud that.
That would be a powder magazine with the armored glass.
That's what that. Oh, yeah, oh, the glass is still in place.
Part of it, yeah.
I mean, we need more World War I films. We do.
Il n'y a pas assez de films de la Grande Guerre.
Non.
Pas assez du tout.
Il y en a plein sur la
Observatory. Yeah, it's the cloche.
Oui.
Yeah, cloche. There's a cloche, a lookout cloche.
For this place, 3.
There are three.
That's a hell of a climb.
To right of 155.
Yeah.
150. Where?
Just at the corner.
There were two 155s and they were never installed.
Never installed and never installed. Because
There was no time in World War I.
yes, but yes.
And where were they supposed to be?
Two external 155 turrets
Free and
on the outside.
155. Very good gun.
Yeah, and the short ones, and they never had time.
That's a hell of a climb.
October, but the war began August. So it just made all.
What's interesting about this hallway is it's not egg-shaped like we're used to seeing in the Prussian and German forts, and it has very square, straight walls and roofs, but it still keeps up. It's not that deep underground, as it just runs under the ditch and then coming up to the other side, where you will see something you will never see anywhere else in the world. You get to play with it too.
Maybe or away.
Yeah, the Americans missed the fort. They bombed the village. Yeah.
So
in paratroopers here, German paratroopers.
in 1944.
Yeah, and when the Americans came, they fired on the Americans, and they called in the bombers.
That's why you have some impact at the front of the fort and on the top of the regional turret.
So the flak was in place in 1944.
37 millimeters.
37 was in 44.
Yes, Second War.
Because I thought they would have taken all that to the Atlantic Wall or something. I was like,
Well, to defend the storage position.
oh, this is where we are. Holy shit, that's not a 75, is it? That's a 70. That's not a 75.
Yes.
That's a 75.
Canon. Canon 12 culasse and on right.
But that, what is that?
Canon
Canon.
12 culasse.
105?
12 canon 12 the diameter of centimeter.
Yes. Well, so that is the last one. That, yes. That is very, very famous. We talked a lot about it, and to be able to show you guys one is just amazing.
There were Caponiers here originally, Tino.
Really?
But they stuck out into...
Here wasn't a Caponier.
Yeah, there was a Caponier there. Okay, but they were easy targets. As you've seen when we went to Souville, they stick out in the ditch.
So when did they take them down?
There is, the pièce. That is unique, the contrescarp. Okay, there's the escarp on the right and the contrescarp. It's set away from the earth behind it.
Oh, there. Oh.
Now that's unique.
Yes.
And in fact, there are firing embrasures down into the ditch.
What's the Americans again?
Yeah, the Americans.
Yes, we shut up the ditch as well.
I know this platform. This will be for the 5.1, right? 5.2? Here would be the 5.
Yes. For the Hotchkiss.
Hotchkiss.
Yes, you can put Hotchkiss.
Very efficient.
That.
Brilliant.
Where is this baby? I can't wait. Where is she?
Faut traduire.
Yeah.
J'explique que ça, c'est des supports pour mitrailleuses Hotchkiss.
That's a Hotchkiss machine gun support.
So what would have been on the platform? Same thing, or just a slight elevation, just for the.
That would be the Hotchkiss.
Hotchkiss and 12 pounds gun.
12 pounder gun. They replaced them both with mitrailleuse Hotchkiss.
About 1880 mitrailleurs. You're never going to get Roger out of here, you know that. He's going to move in here.
12 culasses, canon of 12 centimeter.
Yeah. For a ditch? Holy shit.
With obus in black.
Canister.
Yes.
This is how you clear a ditch, Roger, with a 12 centimeter gun with a canister.
Par l'arrière et 12. Voilà. Simplement.
It would have been an old Napoleon gun that would have been
a muzzle loader that has a breech cut in the back.
So that's what they did after the first Napoleonic Wars. They would take these for the second. But for the second, and then
Philip, 1848.
Yeah, but they would still take old guns and put a breach on them all the way up until World War I.
I did tell you this about this one.
Yeah, I know you.
This is a baby. Wow. Now this is a Hotchkiss revolver cannon. It is 40mm caliber. Virtually all of them in all the fortresses and on all the warships were 37mm caliber. And the 40mm was chosen so that no one could come here and take away their cannon. You can't fire a 37mm shell down these barrels, it will just bounce along and not touch the rifling. Also the Germans, they had the revolver cannons in their fortresses and they were 37. So their ammunition wouldn't fit in here either. Now, each one of the five, it looks like
Gatling.
an American Gatling, but it works on a different, completely different system. And in fact, each one of the 5 barrels has a different rifling pitch, because in the testing ground they tried all 5 different pitches of rifling, and one made the shell explode just after, not far from the gun, the second a bit further, the third a bit further, 4th and 5th down the end of the ditch. So instead of choosing which one, they said, we'll keep all 5. So when you turn the handle a couple of times, the shells explode all the way along the ditch, which is brilliant. Yeah. Can I?
Yes, yes.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's the, look at the, oh. Yeah, that's the firing pin. On the bottom cannon, bottom barrel. And the 5th one. Now, that is brilliant. Now,
You're not done yet.
the ejection port is large enough to take a complete round, the case and the shell. And the reason for that is, if you have a hang fire or a misfire, you absolutely do not want the gun to jam. So you keep on turning the handle, and the round which is not fired is ejected complete. The only problem with that is, if it's a misfire, okay. If it's a hang fire, it now falls at your feet. That can be a problem. But obviously they were prepared for that, because this is such an efficient weapon. If you're going to clear the whole ditch, you fire this baby.
I know you're not done turning this yet, so...
Oh,
Keep
can
going.
I turn it again?
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
You're never gonna... He's not gonna leave, you know that.
I want to take it home. Right, we've just blown to pieces about 50 Prussian troops who are in the ditch. They are now in bits.
Always digging on us Prussians, aren't you?
The enemy you love to hate. Ah, it's beautiful.
No, my family is Prussian.
Oh, it's Prussian. Oh, sorry. Very sorry. All right. It's Württembergers.
Fucking Württembergers.
Yeah, Württembergers.
Well, here's something you will never see anywhere else.
Yeah.
And you'll definitely not get to play with it if you do see it anywhere else. And it's serial, it has a serial number, 534?
Number 534. Brilliant.
How would you like to field strip this? Well, I know you would, so never mind. where would
There
feed
will be a
from?
tray. There'll be
You
a
feed
tray
from-
on top. Okay.
Okay, so you feed from this side.
Yeah.
You feed from here,
Into that chute.
that chute.
Yeah.
And the ejection is underneath.
Yeah, the injection ports underneath.
Just a plaque, a shelf, and
Alright, so you feed from there and into there.
And there is no recoil mechanism. Il n'y a pas de mécanisme de recul. C'est la masse qui fait qu'il n'y a pas d'hydraulique. Il n'y a pas de contrôle. C'est la plus isolée.
This is so simple. So it's gravity fed.
Il n'y a pas de système de recul. That is so, and it's so, c'est assez simple. And it ejects a full round. C'est très essentiel d'éjecter une cartouche complète qui n'a pas tiré.
oui.
Et ça tombe au pied de... She is beautiful. Oh,
Yes.
ah, votre bébé. Ah.
Alright, now this is going to be interesting. Can I read this?
Celui-là était au fort de Froid.
Faut ne pas dire ça. Oh, ils disent toujours que quelqu'un est venu.
1889, 1883, wait a minute.
À l'époque, c'était l'armée qui avait le fort, ils en faisaient rien, ils étaient trouillés, ils traînaient à la pièce.
Yeah, you'd have 2 men firing the gun with ammunition loaders bringing the...
So you're looking at 8, 10 people?
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're in the ditch, you know, you do not survive against this sort of
No.
firepower.
And this is reinforced, isn't it? The roof. This is not original 1880.
No. The Caponiers were the other side of the ditch. And when they took the Caponiers away as too vulnerable, they built these into the cottage.
And one thing that really strikes me here is what a great condition everything is. The cement, the stone. After almost 140 years, it looks like this was relatively new. This clearly was well built with this special concrete. And there's a myriad of hallways down here that I would eventually get myself lost into and locked back into the fort again. And in the hallway you'll find all the powder magazines in here. Well, not here. There's no ventilation. But this is just amazing. I love this place. So, right in the center, I feel the hot air now. And you have the hallways, and here you have the casernes, or the barracks. I feel lucky. I'm gonna go this way. Oh, look at this. That's gorgeous. With the hanging trees and everything. I mean, hot damn, come on. This is how you make warfare look gorgeous. And you do it right next to the urinal, I guess. All right, we'll just skip that part and go back to this part. Wow. Look at this, this is gorgeous. This is just amazing. So down here you walk around the barracks. Must have been such an interesting place to have been stationed. And then you have, what do we have here? We have a room with a little, looks like an arrow slit in it. It's very interesting. I mean, what an amazing place to have been stationed. You have all your barracks around, and the weather. Look at, it's gorgeous today. I wonder how it would have looked 100 years ago. So is the bathtub original? Please tell me the bathtub is original. Please tell me this was the officer's bathtub. Yes? No? It has lion's feet, come on.
Ah, je cherche une maison. Près d'Anse-sur-Meuse, un petit village, un superbe hôtel. Si j'étais marié, j'aurais acheté. Ah, mais utiliser ça comme quartier des visiteurs. Oui. Mais quand on est tout seul, c'est difficile à gérer un restaurant.
What am I seeing? I'm seeing a hallway. What am I seeing here? Louder?
for the kitchen? Please tell me there's a hallway. Ooh, there's a hallway. There's a hallway. Yee. So this is behind the... Yes, dear? What?
There are holes in the floor.
Because everywhere I go, there are holes in the floor. This would almost be surprising if there wasn't.
So this is behind the barracks. This is absolutely amazing. Oh, tell me there's one more. Tell me there's one more in there. No, let's do it. Ooh. There is a hole in here. Look, there's a hole in the floor. Don't know why, but there's a hole in the floor. Was there doors or windows here? There was windows here, 1, 2, 3, 3, right? There's arches.
All this part is full of stones.
Okay. So was there a tunnel in entrance here?
Yeah, you can make
The gallery.
before. Yes, you can make holes around.
Oh, so, okay. Why is there a walkway behind the Kazan there, where I just was?
Well, in case there's bombardment going on.
So that was a shelter in there?
Yeah, a shelter, kind of a shelter. C'est un tourment qui va disparaître en 50 ans.
Un jour.
Ah ouais?
Bien, hein?
Ça c'est pas entretenu.
We go.
Et on sait exactement ce que c'est là. C'est le peintre anti de l'araignée. C'est comme ça. Waouh! Et c'était 6 heures du soir, 4, 5 heures du soir. Il était en haut, on comprenait. Normalement, on ne laisse pas
Steel shutters and everything there.
Mais je préfère le fait que non, non, pour protection, parce que si on est dans le loin, je crois.
Is the office? Is this the officers' barracks?
No, this is the kitchen.
This is the kitchen.
Yes,
I
this
know.
is the place for the kitchen.
Yes, it is.
Yes. On you are
Ventilation.
chimney for the ventilation of the kitchen.
Yes.
And this is not the toilet.
This is the cutting board.
This is the stockage of
Meat.
yes, meat.
This is all the food. Yeah, the meat locker.
This is the stockage for the food. And you have for the waters.
Yeah.
Yes. And the stockage for the food with animals.
Oh yeah, you'd hang the meat there.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Put the meat là.
So were they cold here? Was there a cooler or ice, or was it cold for you?
Called
There's no ice or anything.
no, no ice.
No. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh, this is good. Looks so fantastic.
And this is the fun part to remember. We haven't even begun yet. There's all the outer bastions that we haven't seen yet, with all their weapons inside, functioning, and surrounded by defensive sheep. We'll get there.
Special concrete place.
I know. So this takes us back down into the fort.
Yes, and you have a door outside.
This has enough echo that you can hear it if you change your mind. This is awesome.
Je te laisserai les raccompagner dans le musée, je vais aller accompagner un Non, je vais juste éteindre la lumière. Et j'arrive.
Yes, dude.
You put a beam in there, drop it down. You put another one in there, drop it down. Another one in there, drop it down till you've built a wall of beams, okay?
Like the National Line forts.
Or they could do
Double
that.
row of rail beams.
Rails, yes.
Rien des deux. Non, mais j'ai dit c'est pas bon.
Ah,
C'est
on va maintenant.
là on retourne sur la caserne de Grèce. Autrement si on a une lampe on peut voir le...
Bon, on peut aller voir la prison.
Je ne ferme pas la porte.
We go to the prison.
This place was for the officers.
Officers for this. The officers' mess.
Well, every fort needs a prison.
And on left. Here.
A small prison.
The jail.
Well, everybody needs one.
Il aurait dû tout l'enfer. Ils avaient enfermé les malades.
So do we have history about the fort and the history of what happened here? Or
No famous prison.
no, any history?
Il a une petite question, elle.
Right, it's just the normal, broke the rules, you never do it.
Yeah. No, so what was this? What was all this then?
Barracks.
Oh, it is. So guys would be quartered here, or?
Would have been a doorway and windows here in each arch.
Okay.
Une porte au milieu et une baie vitrée au-dessus. Et quand ils vont réduire la taille des casernements, eh bien...
Ooh, special concrete.
Then they reduce the size of the house.
And go on the left.
What the hell's down here? What are you hiding down here?
Now that is the way down to the barracks that are covered by some special concrete.
Oh, so this is where we get when we came in?
No, this is underground. This is bien profond.
On peut y aller.
Do you want to go down?
What a stupid question. You know we get...
No.
Ooh! There's a rail down here. Yeah. I just have to have a look because it's here. Oh!
That's where we are. This is the outside.
Yes.
That's cool. So would the train pull in here?
No.
This has nothing to do with it. This
Because
is
past time it was the place we parked
Yes.
the train. But
That's okay.
not at the origin.
Okay. So this is of course this is where the safe is with the special cement.
The 1880s, this one.
1880s. This is the fun part. All right, now I'm happy. Look at this. This amazing round. Oh. Wow. There's a little following the rail here. Do you have an out? So we follow the little munition train here. The little munition cart, I love it. Probably get to the magazine. Wow, look at this. And we get down to the magazines there. Modifications, the fact that this thing fought. And the biggest shootout here was with 40 German paratroopers and the Americans. No matter where I go, Americans always blow everything up. I guess it's kind of what we do. I see a closed door there. Shoot, I wonder about that. Oh, maybe I got locked into a fort again. And I don't even have the car keys. God damn it. Oh well. What are you gonna do? You remember those square holes, directional inserts, where you would signal lights to signal the forts. Next to you we saw a douarnent. Well, here's what goes in them.
To send the messages.
This little thing.
Yeah.
Wow. That's all it'll take. So, and it'll actually fit in the slot, wouldn't it? Inside, it'll fit in the tunnel in the fort.
Yeah.
This is really neat. It's neat they have it.
C'est presque unique. Hein?
Oui.
Now there's an enormous collection in the museum that they amassed here that I'm not going to cover, because that way you'll have a reason to visit next time you're in France, and this is a place that is definitely worth a visit. But remember, we've only just begun to touch the surface. Next episode, we're going to go to the northern ramparts, where they have racing turrets, they have the machine gun domes, they have a whole lot of things, and they're all ready to fire. It's an amazing place. It's clear that they've spent 50 years of volunteer work to make this place work and function. And as we talked about, the various forts and batteries and bastions were all connected by the transport link of the rail. That would also take you to the stores. Next time, as we go to Battery Nord, you can't imagine what we're going to show you. It is such an amazing place, what they did here. But I'll give you a little teaser for next week. And you must all give a shout out to the young man here. He had just been getting ready to get picked up by his girlfriend waiting in the office as we showed up camera ready, and he sent her home and spent hours showing us this place. Very much against Trent's tradition. I hope one day I'll get to buy them both a romantic dinner. Without me.
Behind me is Vanna von Braun's first test stand. Down the road is Diebner's nuclear reactor. Over there is the Maginot Line and all its amazing forts. I'm visiting them all and I'm bringing them to you. So I really appreciate you like, follow, and share what I'm doing, trying to document all these important historical locations. And if you feel like you want to watch more pictures or documents that I use for these, go to lostbattlefields.com. And if you feel like helping me out with my travels, because gasoline and travel and airfare is expensive, my PayPal is there, protectionserviceint.com. You are more than welcome, but you don't have to. I appreciate all your support and all your help, and I love seeing these locations, and I love bringing them to you.